Web3 experts that are really shaping the future of technology, of trends, of opportunities, and perspectives every single day. Nothing we ever say is ever financial advice, and always do your own research. If this is your first time joining us, we do this show on X every Wednesday live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find us on any of your favorite streaming platforms. Just click the link inside of my profile. Today, we are going to be diving straight into content creation. If you have been listening to anything that is going on crypto Twitter right now, or just, in general, on all of the newsletters, everybody's talking about content creation. Why? Because Blast has been blasting and has just been kicking it off and has really brought on the attention on content creators and how people monetize and how people make a living, specifically in Web3, unlocks a world of opportunities. Today, I have on in my opinion, one of the experts in content creations, both behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes, making and delivering all of that content creation for you, bringing out all of the secrets, talking about how you should be looking at the camera, what you should be saying in front of the camera, how you deliver the end product. So all of those amazing things, Chris is here to talk to us. Chris, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. Happy to be here. I'm going to be doing 3 live streams today, and I was so stoked that this was going to be a live stream as well. So for people who don't know, we're looking at each other on video right now. Like, you'll be watching it. So no, I think it's great that you're doing both at the same time, spaces and a live stream. That freaks out everybody. So hats off to you. Good job.
It does freak out everybody. And hey, you know what? It freaked me out. Seriously. Like when Twitter Spaces started and I started hosting just on audio, my hands were sweating. Like I couldn't, you can't even imagine how nervous I was to pick up even just a phone, to be able to pick up a phone and talk behind it, because I felt like all eyes were on me, even though they weren't, but all ears were on me, right? And it's incredibly nerve wracking. And it took me a really long time to be able to get past that. And when the video component was added to it, I said, that's insane. There is no way. I love the idea of being able to now, I love the idea of being able to speak on Twitter Spaces. No one has to see me. No one, I can do it from my PJs if I wanted to, right? I can laugh if I want to. I can mess up if I want to, and really no one will know. Well, now the entire world knows, and now people are seeing us, and it almost feels like it's intrusive into your own space, and yet it is because it is your own space that people are able to connect with it and that people like it, etc. So I want to dive straight into it, Chris. Like you have been, um in my opinion, instrumental in a whole lot of content creators that are in the space, because you teach the perspective of like how to be comfortable on camera, how to get out there and do it right. I want to ask you straight off the bat, and we didn't even talk about this, so I'm just going to put you in the hot seat. But what's the biggest, like, number one fear that you hear from content creators, even from, a person that's thinking about starting to a person that has been doing this? What's that recurring fear that stops a person from doing it?
I mean, like, people are dicks on the internet, so there's that. But like, the funny thing is the most common fear is also the most misplaced fear, because everybody, before they start doing this stuff, they're thinking like, if I turn the camera on and I point it at myself and I do this, everybody's gonna make fun of me, everybody's gonna this, everybody's that. And I'm like, no, no one's even gonna see your stuff. Like, no one's gonna care. No one will watch your video. So that's a good thing, and it sounds like it's harsh, but the reality is, like, if you decide to start doing this right now, no one's gonna see your shit, not until you get good. So like, it's kind of nice. Like, by the time anybody actually gets to see you, because algorithms have picked you up, or like you become popular, like, that usually kind of stacks over time, and it allows you to kind of hone your skills a little bit, so that it gets to the point where anyone will ever see your stuff. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like,
Prophecy of like,
if you
if
get
you
good at it, then
good
people will
at it,
see.
then people will
And if you
see.
don't get good
And
at
if you
it,
don't get good at it,
who cares? No one's gonna see your stuff anyway. That's kind of the easy answer.
use the answer.
It's a good way of looking at it, and one that makes us feel a lot more comfortable, right? I want to go to your journey because you have been doing content for a while, but that's not how you started, right? That's not how you started. And you definitely didn't start off by being the teacher to content creators or explaining how you did it. So I'm curious as to like what your background is, how you even started, why you even started to pick up a camera. And then I want to get into the conversation of how that leads us into Web3 because I've often talked about it on the show how in my opinion Web3 and the decentralization part of it really opens up the door for content creators to take out the middle person and to make their own path using their monetizing themselves, right? Their voice and their face and their own product. They become the product. So I want to get to like what was your journey?
I mean, I was just a little skateboarder kid in SoCal. So like I would just follow my buddies around and film them skateboarding, and then I'd give them the camera and they'd film me skateboarding. And like
Like,
I think I learned early on it was worth telling somebody how to like get the good shot, because I kept watching the videos after we go like skate and come back. This is like prior to the internet, really. Like people weren't hanging out online. If anything, that was like AOL days, like way back, right? 90s. And like we'd watch the video, and when I'd be shooting videos of my homies, it was like cool, and I'd like get cool angles and I would make it look good. And then when their bozo asses were filming me, it looked terrible. It was all shaky, like they sucked. And I was like, you suck. Like I want my footage to look like the footage I shoot of you guys. So I think there was this like clear separation before. It was like I cared about the content when like literally nobody in life used the word content, you know? So I think as time went on, we realized like, oh, if I make dope videos, then I can take them to a shop and they'll give us free skateboards and clothes and stickers and all this stuff. And so it was like learning about sponsorships and like, isn't that what we do now? You make the content so you can get the sponsor. So like that was in the 90s, and I was getting hired to make websites and make these little skate videos and stuff like that. So it was just like super meta that then later on I was like, oh well, I don't skate nearly as much, but now I'm into cars. So then I started making all these videos teaching people about the car stuff. Um, then yeah, just kind of continued on. I've just never not been a creator since I was a little freaking kid.
The monetization part of it. I'm really curious as to when brands or let me back up. Multiple studies show that the reason content creators, influencers, if you will, KOLs, now we're calling them, right? The reason that they are so successful is because um, uh, retail wise, people want to go and purchase things. People want to learn more from an individual, one that is not on the payroll of these big companies, but from an actual individual who's giving me their unbiased opinion, who looks like me, who talks like me, who has the same lifestyle as me, etc. Do you want to add any color as to what you have heard from brands or from clients that the kind of things that they are looking for? Because I think that as generations pass, that becomes the meta. That becomes more and more important, right? To um, Instagram is a way that we tend to shop now. WeChat is as big as it is because of the availability of it and the structure that it's just tremendously easy to watch a person's video, click on buy, and I'm buying the thing. So I'd love for you to expand on that.
Yeah, well, I look at it like this. People that have a bunch of followers that know about their life, that like that person's particular take on things. They like the way that person speaks, or they like they're actually a big fan of that creator, then they'll trust them. And the reality is, like, if they see somebody else that is just coming in and making a bunch of ads and just shilling everything, they probably won't trust them. I got a question for everybody else too. Do you hear an odd echo when I speak, or is that only me? Because I got a message a second ago right now.
That there's an echo.
Yeah, I don't know if it's only, maybe if you mute when I talk, then I won't hear it there. Let's see.
I just tried it.
Cool. We good? Good. I can be like, ah, okay, yeah. So now I'm gonna talk all loud and annoying, like. So here's the thing. It's really cool because if people follow you because you share your journey and they meet you and they like that you're sharing more about your life than just what you're telling them to buy or whatever, then they're gonna identify with you way more, right? Which means that you could have 20 different people talking about the same subject, but all 20 of those people are gonna look slightly different. They're going to sound slightly different. They're going to have different backgrounds. And so their ability to make you, like, to get visibility to a product or a service or just something that you, or education, whatever it might be, they might want to learn from you more, or they might want to buy the clothes that you wear or play the game that you play or whatever, specifically because they align with you more than they do those other people, the other 19 people out of the 20. Right? Which is great for brands because they're like, oh, let's just work with a bunch of smaller creators that all kind of represent different communities or different, interest groups or whatever. So it's really cool for us as creators because if we're sharing our life with different people that want to follow along, then we're really, like, our brand, what we're bringing to the table is much more than, oh, I can make you a video. Thing is, if you don't share any of that stuff about yourself, you're kind of commoditized as somebody who can just provide that little service. And I usually equate it to, like, the guy that mows your lawn. Like, you don't care about his backstory. I mean, I hate to say it. You could find another guy that'll mow your lawn, 8 days a week. So it's like the thought that guy is going to demand a higher price and be like, you even know who I am? I'm gonna mow your lawn. Do you know how many lawns I've mowed? Do you know whose lawns I've mowed? I'm gonna charge you $1,000. Like, no, that guy's not gonna do that. He's just gonna mow your lawn, and then he's gonna get replaced if he ever stops being able to. Same thing with content creators. If all you're bringing to the table is you can make a video, well, good news. There's millions and millions of people that can do that same thing, and so brands will look at you like a commoditized thing. What I like to see people do is really build their own following and their own kind of, like, style and voice, and people that will follow them around the whole internet doing whatever, support them with whatever they're doing, because now you're not just the commoditized thing. Now the commodity in the situation is the guy with the bag of money, because then it's like, yeah, well, there's a lot of guys with bags of money and they're not special. They're like the lawnmower. They're like the guy that, oh, you got a bag of money? Well, that guy's got a bag of money. So which one of you is going to give me more? Because I'll just choose him. Just like they typically do. Oh, you're just a creator? Well, there's a bunch of creators. I'll just find the creator that will charge less. So it's kind of a fun dance, really. It's like, oh, I know people that'll charge less. Well, I know clients that'll pay more. So, like, you could really take this wherever you have the confidence to go about it. And that's an ever evolving kind of change that's happening with the creator economy. And the fun part that I'll kind of, like, close this little, or land this plane with, is, like, I mean, as we're going through all these different brand deals, we're being offered all this stuff, like, you can become the business. You don't have to be the one that's just, like, the product, right? Like, if you only know how to speak creator and you only know how to make the videos and just do the thing that you're told, you'll always be going and getting hired by different people and working for brands. But if you build your own thing, then you become the brand. That's where you can actually make money, because now you just have your own thing, your own machine, and you just keep running that thing, and you don't need somebody to come through with the bag and jingle it and be like, hey, you want some of this? Be like, no. Matter of fact, I don't need your money so that I can go give my take, because I can give my take and it can't be bought. So I think that's like the power move that I'm, like, hardcore into. I'm a little bit of a dick when it comes to all this stuff. I'm just like, don't treat me like a lawnmower, motherfucker. That's it.
Well, I mean, I think it's because you know your shit, right? I think it's because you're confident in it, and I think that you're comfortable in it, and it speaks volumes, right? How do you create your own? How do you become your own brand?
So I think this is actually funny. I love that Sansa's in here in the audience, and I'm telling him like this guy has a great ability to share his personal life and like share the reasons why he does things, and it gets people to feel something. And there's all these cliche sayings that I could give you right now about like people don't remember like the thing that you said, they just remember how you made them feel, right? That's true. Like I don't know if you go watch a movie and you never laugh, you never get scared, you never have any emotion or anything like that, are you going to remember that movie? Probably not. But like everybody remembers the movie that scared them like crazy when they were a kid, or like, oh my god, I love that movie. Like my wife loves Steel Magnolias. She's like, if we watch that movie, I'm gonna cry my ass off the whole time. And so you have to know I'm gonna be a mess. My eyes are gonna be all swollen and everything's gonna be a mess. But like I love that movie. So if we watch it, like obviously she's never gonna forget that movie because it made her feel something. So I think if we're talking about being a creator and building a brand and actually having something like that, are you memorable? Did you impact anybody? Did you make them feel something? Like after being exposed to your content, did they gain confidence in something, or did they learn something, or did they like achieve some financial thing? Like you probably remember the people that have helped you make a bag of money here, or that helped you like learn something, or you probably remember who onboarded you into Web3, like
Mhm.
I do. That I tell brands this all the time. I'm like, if you're the reason people are here and they got some wins, you taught them about how to set up their MetaMask. It's just some boring shit, but like you helped them do that. Now that memory is tied to you and like you're associated. And like I look at so many people that are here that are just trying to entertain somebody for like 8 seconds of their day. I'm like, maybe you make them laugh enough that they remember you. Maybe. But like there's so much stuff on the internet that's trying to get our attention. It's
Mhm.
kind of like, did it help somebody? Maybe it was escapism. I know that's always going to do well. Escapism's great. You help people just be distracted from their life for a minute. Like, did you help them? Because being distracted and helping, maybe not always the same thing, maybe not usually the same thing. So I think if you find a way to solve a problem that a lot of people have, and you help them overcome something, or whatever it might be, you could do that through your want to align with that. And that's where you really start kind of being the one who's dealing with these brand opportunities and like like you saw the tweet from Leap recently where he's like, I don't want to take all these little
Mhm.
things. Like I want like a long-term partner. That's how you do it. And that's the platform that guy's built for himself. That's a lot of people have done the same thing. So um, yeah, I don't know. Be valuable. Don't just waste people's time. Respect their time. I think that's it.
I, I love that. I think that man, I think that that is spot on. You talked about Sansa, and I think that is true. Like I can tell you certain things about his life on a personal level because he's shared it, right? And things that stick to you, right? And things that perhaps he doesn't even realize that are sticky to other people, but when they are relatable and when they are different, then it tends to be something that you unconsciously even later think about, right? Of like who you want to, I don't know, talk to more often or consume more of their content, etc. I want to ask you specifically about Web3 because from talking to people, from being one myself, etc., web being a content creator in Web3, and I'm talking about everyone from the threader to the memer to to the video, the space host, etc. The hardest thing, in my opinion, is the discoverability part of it, right? It is standing out. To your point, it is standing out. There's like, if the entire world already has a very short attention span, crypto Twitter has it even less, like half of that. Absolutely no one on crypto Twitter has an attention span that's normal. We're all just a little bit off, just a little bit less of, less willing to give you our attention because there are so many other attention grabbing things, and opportunities to go out and make money. Alpha, 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 right? If it's not anything that you're providing me information for that's going to make me money, I know that you're with IRL and TDA. We cross a lot of these different paths for a reason. They're things that improve our lives, or things that improve our our days, etc. If you're not doing any of that, then chances are you're going to be struggling. So I want to ask you about Web3 specifically. How would you recommend a person that is trying to monetize eventually? Because I think that that's the goal of everybody who's trying to create content. How would you go about taking those first steps? Like, what are your first steps in coming into Web3 as a content creator with the goal of eventually being able to monetize? How do you get to float up at the top to actually be seen on others' algorithm?
I think here's probably easier than anywhere else, which is wild because it also has the most financial upside, and the path to money is fast here. It's crazy. It's such a weird place. The fact that there's not just like boatloads of content creators here, which is great for now, that
Mhm.
for everybody else, like now's still a good time to be kind of, doing some of the stuff I'm about to say right now. But reality is this: in most places, if you start watching somebody's YouTube videos or their TikToks or their Instagram or whatever, like it's not pumping your bags. It's just not. They're pumping their own bags. It's literally they're there for them and you're along for the ride. And so, like, you're how they're going to make money. But in Web3, you show up and you're like, hey, we both have pizza ninjas. Like, cool. This is this cool thing that, like, we just experienced in New York. And so I'm going to make a bunch of content that's telling everybody how dope it is to own a pizza ninja. And guess what's going to happen? The floor price is going to go up. People are going to see that there's, oh, if I own one of these, I can get access to that. Oh my God, they got those airdrops. Oh my, like all these things that like we as holders are able to put out there. And we're literally collectively pumping all of our bags with that. If you're doing a really good job, let's say you're just absolutely the best ever at making that content, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, should I, like, should I make videos about this because Belle's crushing it? Like, I don't know. You're gonna be the one that everybody's like championing. Like, yeah, look, Belle's just crushing it, just like we're seeing our friend Jen do right now with all this blast stuff.
Mhm.
She's out there doing all these things. Everybody's like, yay, Jen, because she's helping them make money. She's raising like the awareness of a thing. She's adding value to that little ecosystem. And so people, it's like they crowd surf you. They're like, "Oh, dope. Like
Mhm.
let's hold up Jen, right? She's doing great. Well, let's hold up Belle because she's absolutely crushing the pizza ninja stuff." Like those examples are things that don't exist outside of Web3. Nobody's like, "Oh my god, this person's so good because they drive the same car as me. Now I make more money." Like, no, they're just making a YouTube video and they're trying to show it to people that all have the same cars that you guys have. Like, it doesn't mean anybody's like necessarily benefiting, like, definitely not financially by watching that person's YouTube channel. But in Web3, you're like, oh, yeah, hell yeah. Like, this person's absolutely crushing it. Because of them, now our NFT is in front of all these things, or our ordinal, or our rune, or pick a thing. Like you literally just find any community that you can be part of and help them raise awareness on that, because still in in 2024 web3 sucks at marketing so bad. It is crazy. And so like you just have these individual people that show up and they just don't suck at marketing, and then everybody else is like, "Oh, damn. That person's amazing. All the stuff that they're doing is literally pumping my bags and I support that message." So like
Mhm.
I really do feel like what step 1, look around at what communities you're already in. Step 2, like are they getting any visibility? Is anybody making noise about it? Is there something that you can do maybe to highlight a special moment? Like one of the first groups that I was part of, there was this weird controversy with Gary Vee off the bat. People were like trying to like ask, why did Gary Vee say something bad about our collection? Like, what's going on? And they were all just kind of like squabbling over the details. And there's some actual truth. And then there was like all the misinterpretations and all that. And so my very first move was like, get the details, make sure that they're right, make a video about it, put it out there. And then instead of them all kind of miscommunicating and messing up the details, they just shared my video. And then they just explained everything. And it was simple. And then after that, they're like, oh, you're good at making videos. And I was like, I mean, I found a reason that I could like sneak one of my little videos in like a Trojan horse. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, yeah, you should make more videos. And I think every community has that opportunity. Like every person who's in any group has the ability to help that group collectively by their content. And you just got to find out what's, you know, how's the way that you like to make the content. 'Cause some people will write a fatty thread about it. Some people make a video, you know, maybe they make a skit, like whatever it might be. If you've got a way to contribute and it helps a bunch of other people, they're going to crowd surf you. And I think that that's like, you do that enough times, like the money's going to come knocking on your door. But if you want to be a real savage, then you just use that and leverage it and go, hey, I did this for them. You guys want me to do it for you? You can go be a shark and find the blood, you know?
I read a long time ago that people are attracted, like they'll just naturally be attracted to support or to listen to or, you know, give your attention to either a hero who you are proud of and you want to elevate even more because of something that moves inside of you, or a zero and they, you know, pissed you off or did something that they shouldn't have, or something that moves you again, the same level of passion, but the opposite way. But it's either going to make you cry or it's going to make you push them even higher. One way or another, they have your attention. And so I think, yeah, that resonates with me. That sounds really like, you know, it hits the nail on the head. That's really good. You started on YouTube before you came into Web3. What are your thoughts? Like I've heard the argument both ways, but I've heard a lot of content creators in Web3 talk about, where should I be putting my content? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it crypto Twitter? Or where do I avoid being in such of a bubble, but still make an impact and be able to monetize off of it?
Yeah, so it's a weird question. And I like to just kind of ask people like, what's the end result you're looking for? Because if you want to get like internet famous, then definitely our silly little group of nerds on crypto Twitter is not it. You know what I mean? Like what we've seen here is that people like they're if you're grown inside of Web3, like that's the incubator that you came up in, then like you're staying in Web3. Like that is where you're at. No one cares on the internet about what you're doing, just us. So there's
Yeah.
that. And then the flip of it though is very true that like it can be, you can have dual citizenship. You can be like Web 2, Web 3 if you start in Web 2 and you come in here and then you could go back out and do your thing. But the reality is like it's two different languages. Like you're speaking like broad language that attracts lots and lots of people if you're making a bunch of videos that you want to pop on social media. And then there's like the Web3 stuff that um, can help people grow here. But here's the point: you don't have to grow outside of Web3 if you want to make money, and that's why so many content creators are doing it. I hate to say it, and I'm not saying that they don't have things that they care about or that they only care about money. Um, but the truth is, like, it's way easier to get money here. So if the means to an end is I make content only because I need to make dollars, then this is a good place that you can do that with like way less effort and way less time. It is a super fast space, so you can learn like hyper fast and put that stuff to use and turn it. You talk to the decision makers here. That's the reality of it. Like you're in a space, you realize you have an opportunity to do something, you catch the right person's attention, you're in their DMs, you're making money that night, right? Like you set up a deal, and hey, I could blah 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 for you. The decision maker is who you're talking with. that's not how it usually is with like these YouTube things, or there's agencies, and then the agencies, they got their clients, and then they're choosing multiple people, and it's like so many people on that ladder before you get to the decision maker, that it's definitely a slower process. And a lot of it there, it's a little bit like, if you're making somebody money from your content at the end of the day, is it selling a product, right? Did they get signups for their software company or for their brick and mortar? Did you get people to sign up for that gym? Like whatever it is, like that's a slower process. And a lot of times they're going to look at that like, they'll do a campaign with somebody and they'll pay them X amount, but it's not going to be like, no one's making millions from most of these deals. You're not Kylie Jenner. You're not bringing like a flood of retail buyers into something. But in Web3, I don't know. You help somebody mint out. That was my first experience. I was like, okay, cool. I'm getting hired by these guys. They're paying me a bunch of money because I'm going to help them make millions of dollars, bring it all in at once. And like, that's what happened. So it makes way more sense that I made a good cut of millions of dollars. Whereas in the Web 2 world, they would have been like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
$12,000 a month is crazy. Like, no one ever is going to get that much money unless you're the most famous internet, celebrity out there. So, um, very, very different, like, way to look at things. But here's the truth, though, is there's a lot of people that are not like, I love content because I hate doing other stuff. I had a whole business that I built, and then realized that content was helping me with that business. So I started doing more content. Pretty soon I was like, fuck the business. I like the content. Like that's what I want to be doing. And I shelved the whole business. I just went into full-time content in like 2018. And as soon as I could kind of get away from that industry, the automotive stuff that I was doing on YouTube, I was happy to do that because I didn't even care about the cars. I just like making the content, helping like create education and all this stuff. Like I was in love with that whole process. And so that's what I've been doing full time for a long time. And it's not because it made me rich. It certainly didn't. But I'm free and I'm
Yeah.
happy. And if I'm free and happy and I'm making a little money, then I'm not willing to exchange the freedom or the happiness to make more money. So there's only one path for me. It's freedom, happiness, and gradually making more money. It's like, that's a hard sell because
Yeah.
everybody's going to tell you, oh, just 6 months of unhappiness. Just tell your wife and your kids to deal with it and blah, blah, blah. You got to go make money. I'm like, I don't worship money, but I certainly love what I do. And I want to keep loving what I do, and I want to be happy. So you take your dollars and pound sand, buddy. Unless it fits into that, like, I'm happy, I'm free, more money. Then I'm good. Let's do that.
I love that you say that because I'm going to get a little bit more personal on this. I'm going to dig just a little bit deeper. I have had conversations with people about how time consuming content creation is, right? There is a stigma out there. There's the thought that in order for you to be really, really good at it, especially in Web3 and, in crypto Twitter, in order for you to be really, really good at it, you have to push out, you have to create content 24/7, you have to be available 24/7, and therefore your family life and your real life and your job, etc., goes to the backseat, right? I've had conversations with Chris Coffey, who, by the way, if you're not following Chris, make sure that you are, because he's also, an amazing content creator. But Chris Coffey and I both have kids at home. I know you do, but and so, when you like after this, I immediately go to pick up the kids, right? And today, being completely transparent, today is one of the only days that I put on makeup, right? Got my mascara on, and I have a little lipstick, and I got my hair done, all of that kind of thing for the camera because I'm doing this live stream. Ideal day for me to be able to knock out some other videos if I wanted to, right? After this, I'm going to carpool, picking up the kids. I got, martial arts. I have dinner that I have to cook. I got other things that I have to do, homework, bath time, bedtime, all of these other things that are just gonna. It's a waste of my hairdo today after this, right? So like, I know for sure that there are other parents and other entrepreneurs and other business people that are listening to me saying that and be like, exactly. When the hell am I supposed to be able to find the time to be able to do this? And if I don't have the time to be able to do this, then why should I even start? Because I'm never going to be able to find success. What do you say to a person like that? What do you say to me, Chris? What do you say to me in that situation?
I say 24-year-old single people are loud. Like, but I don't care. Like, I like them. I think they're, you know how cool it is that I get to go sit and listen to people like Frank or Eddie or like, they're like babies, they're little kids, and they're so
Yeah.
damn smart. I love that. I just turned 40, right? And like, I don't act old, I don't look old. I don't like, I'm not done. I'm not like beaten by life. I've never had a job in my life. I've always done some sort of freelance work or whatever. And I love to learn a lot. So I look at it like we could benefit from each other all so much. Most of the kids that are 24 that are, you know, they're doing the single life, they're doing all, I'm like, you have no excuse but to win. Are you kidding me, bro? Like, I got a
Yeah.
mortgage, 2 kids, wife. I've been with my wife for like 23 years, right? And this kid's been alive for 23 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the same. But uh I I look at it like, what would I tell somebody who's my age? Most of the time it's kind of hard because like they've burdened themselves with life with like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I'm obligated. I need to put my kids through this, so I need to suffer. And I'm like, what the hell does that teach your kids? Like, I teach my kids that I'm selfish and I will do the things that make me happy so that I can spend time with them and watch the anime with the old kid and play Minecraft with the little kid and watch the funny movie with my wife and all that stuff. And somebody else is going to be like, yeah, but you need to come out to LA because that's where the action's at, and you need to like put all that stuff to the side. I'm like, do I though? Because I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
at 40 years old, like, I don't think I'm gonna have this like massive curveball when I grow up, because I don't want to grow up. Like, I just want to keep doing my thing, and be selfish with the people that I want to spend the time with. So, um, I think that it is what you make it, and like, I'd rather my kids know that if they want to go be, if they want to go get like a big corporate job and that's what makes them happy, and they want to go after the bucks, I'll support them. If they want to be, an artist and they, want to just like be super creative all the time, do all these things, then like, better time in human history right now than any time there's ever been before. Like, you can do the things that you want to do right now. You can hide behind, oh, I can't because I have to, take care of these big things. And I'm like, I don't know. I've got friends that are in Web3 crushing, going after it, not 24, sick kids, like dealing with bigger, way bigger shit than me, crushing it. So what excuse do I have? Because I got healthy kids and I got, like, I don't have a big thing like a boulder that I'm pushing up the hill. And other people are doing it. So
Mhm.
I don't think you have to be 24. I don't think you have to be single. I don't think that there's like some prerequisite. You have to have a certain look or sound or whatever. There's something here for everybody. And for everyone who's being loud and representing their group like hardcore, there's a million other things that you could be doing and representing that, like, there's nobody in that place right now. It's an empty spot. You'd basically be running unopposed. So like, if you hold office because you've never had a competitor that makes you actually have to be good, then like, cool, easy street. And I think that there's that in Web3. There's all these different places that you could have the person that's the mom that does this, or the dad, or the old ass guy, or the 16-year-old kid who's just smart as shit and everybody's learning from him. Like, I don't know, pick a scenario.
Mhm.
There's probably only a couple people that are in there. If not, nobody's in that spot, and you could kind of run unopposed. So I don't know. I think abundance mindset is pretty clearly like my gear. I don't really see. I think if anyone else is doing it, then that's proof of concept. And like, hell yeah, if they could do it, you could do it.
Yes, yes, I love that. That's super inspirational, Chris. Thank you for sharing that because I know, like, I'm seeing the people who are joining us here. I can't see all the viewers that are watching us. Thank you for watching us, but I can see the people who are on Twitter Space right now, and I know that a lot of them I personally know that that resonates with a lot of them. So, shout out to everybody who's here, and shout out to everybody who, takes out the time on your busy days. Speaking of busy parents and entrepreneurs and business professionals and artists and all kinds of things that you got going on. But these kind of raw discussions, I think, really are important. And at least to me, brings me back and grounds me back, right? To say, all right, you're not alone and you got this. So I think that that's really cool. I want to change the subject a little bit and ask you on your opinions on like the general state of Web3. I see you participate in a lot of different Twitter spaces. You also participate in IRL Alpha. So I think that you have your finger on the pulse really, really well on a lot of different things. I want to ask you, just generally speaking, we're in May right now, right? The market has kind of gone like this. We're in the May go away season right now, but you have ordinals and you have runes that have come about more recently that, have been popping. But then sometimes, it goes with the wave of Bitcoin and everything else. How are you feeling about the market, and what are some things that you have your eye on right now?
Oh, it's so hard because one of the things I said for this year, I was like, I'm gonna stop saying I don't care about things because obviously I do. I care a lot about this space, and the main thing that was my point before, like my old stupid little spiel, was I just love the people here. I just love such a crazy collection of people. So that's where my heart's usually at, is just with just all the such a huge variety of people. Like what brought us to Web3 is it's so different. All these
Yeah.
people are so different. I grew up in Southern California. I'm used to diverse culture, people from everyone's from somewhere else and all that. That's how I feel about Web3. Um, but I would say when it comes to the market, how much it changes and how much things like it is so fast that you can't I don't know. I feel bad for the person who always wants to be the expert because they just flip flop. They kind of change direction with the wind. Sad to see it, but at the same token, it's pretty cool because maybe it takes you 12 professions before you actually get good at one of them, and you don't have to just keep changing up. But everything with runes right now was it seems very similar to how it was with ordinals. And this is not my original idea. Like a lot of people say this, like ordinals was hot. And then it did the typical Web3 super fast. And then everybody else fell off because they're like, oh, it's not the biggest thing for 8 weeks in a row. Which, by the way, you show me anything that's been the biggest thing for 8 weeks in a row. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen it. Everything lasts a week, 1 week. And then the next week, it's a different thing. It's always how it's been since I've been here in the last 2.5, 3 years. So, I think runes being all this expectation that it's just going to have this everlasting 8 weeks, nine, just keep on going and pumping. Like, I don't know. I don't know why anybody would think that that would be the case. Right now, we're on SocialFi, and next week, we're going to be on something else. And the next week, we're going to be on something else that's going to keep going. But that's cool because now you've got all these communities. It just keeps on stamping out all these new things, and you're gonna have people that go absolutely hardcore. You're gonna have the gens of the world that are just badasses, and they just attach their badassness to one thing and start really attacking it hardcore more than anybody else. And then they'll get crowd surfed by that community, and we're gonna see that with SocialFi and fantasy stuff. We're gonna see that with runes when hopefully it pops back up like so many other things do. We're gonna see the money shift back into ETH. We're going to see projects that have long existing communities that get the spotlight again, and they'll be hot and they'll be popping. I got some things boy, would I love for them to go back up in value. Um, but I just don't look at it like there's I feel like I just spent so much time in the bear market here, and I don't know, I'm just down for all of it. It's cool. It's like the wave pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why would you want to go to the pool and just hang out with a bunch of strangers and it just does nothing? It's cool when
Yeah.
it's all rocky and crazy and kind of riding the wave pool. So That's Web3 is just a big old wave pool. It's just gonna keep changing and keep getting weird. I like it.
It keeps you on your toes, right? How do you keep up with everything?
So the beautiful thing is it all needs content. And so as long as I am aligning my thing, which has never changed. I've never changed up even for a second since I've been here. All I mainly talk about is video stuff and content and creators and all that stuff. Like that is literally the only time you hear me talk. Like I don't share my opinions on the stuff that I don't really care much about, or that I'm just learning a whole bunch. I should probably ask more questions. That's a challenge to myself. Ask more questions, even if you feel stupid about it. That's a good thing to do here because how else are you going to
Yeah.
learn? Um, but I just like finding people that kick ass at stuff, and if there's a way I can help them, I help them. Right? IRL Alpha, one of the coolest damn things. I think it's the coolest thing in Web3, like just across the board. It's just
Yeah.
such this underrated, like nobody. I mean, to the title of the show, if you know, you know. If you've been there and you've seen it and you've experienced it and all that stuff, I have the opportunity to drive out once a week and be part of it. So I do. It's a far ass drive, but it's worth it. It's the only thing I drive to. Like I take my kids to school up the street, and then I work in my house. Like I don't have to go anywhere. So when I'm going somewhere, I got my camera stuff. I'm all like, I got my 5 hour energy for my long ass drive home. I'm trying to be better about this, but I used to like pack up like my favorite like IPAs and shit in my bag, and yeah, I'd get there and park the car at the bar so that when we go out for drinking later, like I have time enough to have a drink with a friend and then kick back 2-3 hours hanging out by the fire pits in the back, having good conversation, networking, and all that stuff. Drinking water, trying to be a good boy, and then I drive my ass home. I mean, it's a great night, and like that's once a week, so it keeps the rotation of the conversations. I try not to click up too much and only talk to one person or one group of people, and like always have this kind of ever changing group where I'll spend extra time with one person. It's a different person every week. I love that. I actually wish I did that
Yeah.
more here on crypto Twitter, but truthfully, like I love the people I hang out with here every day, and I would feel sad if I didn't get listen to Espresso Shot in the mornings. And there's something about dropping your kid off and holding this cute little hand, and I'm walking, and there's like fresh cut grass. It's like all this beautiful stuff, blue sky. We're walking up. I look down. He looks up at me and smiles, but in my ear, I can hear Shotgun being like, "Yeah, you should shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "Yes, I love it." It's such a funny when it's me in my head. I can hear this. Everybody else is, they're all dropping their kids off at school. I'm just laughing, walking by myself. Cute little scenario with the kids. So like, I don't want to change that up. I enjoy that, and um, it all just comes back to the people are just so fun, and smart and talented, and the artists and everything is wild. It's such a cool ass place.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
understand why more people haven't come into this space. Like if I could do anything to help that, that's why I'm here. Just get more people to realize how dope it is in this crazy ass environment.
I agree. I agree so much. And you just encapsulated like what I often feel also, because I was in corporate America for 20 years, close to 20 years. And then I came into this wild, wild west of crypto Twitter, and it makes me feel like suddenly I didn't know that I had such a square life, before I came here. And now it makes me feel kind of cool sometimes to be able to do the same thing that you do, right?
Yeah.
Now I can talk to my teenager, and when my teenager says like all these crazy slang words, I can hit him right back, right? And he hates it. But the fact that I even know what they are because of the Twitter spaces that I listen to and because of the 22-year-olds that I hang out with online, I mean, enough that's enough for me. Like that's enough to give me a little bit of riz on the streets, right?
No, I love that. My 15-year-old is always like, he the fact that I can have a teenager that really wants to hang out with me, I'm like, all the other dads I know are just like, yeah, you used to be your kid's hero, and then and I'm like, maybe it's because you're a piece of shit. I don't know. Maybe there's that. Like, I'm always telling my kids, the stuff that I teach them is not, oh, I have to go without because I'm trying to provide you a better life. Like, I get it. My family's immigrants from Russia. Like, that I understand that you go through in hardcore stuff so you can make a better way and all that stuff. But I'm trying to tell my kids, like, I'm awesome. So you should grow up and be awesome. You should grow up and be happy. You should go do the things that you want to do, and I'll support you and love you. And there's all that. And like this whole narrative of like, you've got to be a martyr and, you got to feel pain. Otherwise, you don't care. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, no. Like, life is short. Enjoy it. Like, do things you care about. Like, you're not promised another day. Like, might as well, when you go, you did all the things that you wanted to do and to the best of your ability, and die on your own sword, as opposed to like, oh well, I had to play it safe because everyone told me I was supposed to do all the school things and all the things the world told you to do. I'm like, the world does not have your best interest at heart. Like, you're just exit liquidity. That's all that you
Yeah.
ever all you ever were to the world. So you might as well like play by your own rules, and you know what I mean? Find a way to pass that on and help some people along the way. So that's my thing.
Amen to all of that. I think that you are wise beyond your years, and I love it. I love it. I think that it takes I don't know, it takes a special kind of person to realize that, happiness is not all about the dollars, and happiness is not all about, creating all that success, right? It's about making yourself happy. And the path that you choose to do so is exactly the path that you're supposed to be on. So I really like that. Chris, tell us how people can continue to support you. Where can we follow you? Where can we learn more about you? How do we get to meet you and learn from you?
So it's a weird situation now. I mean, I don't know. Follow me on Twitter, but no. The truth is, I just love when people are putting themselves out there and like they're making content. Like, I'm just mad impressed that you've got a live stream going right now and a Twitter space at the same time. Pick 1,000 people, 999 of them aren't willing to do that. It's crazy. So like, I love that. It makes me want to support the things that you're doing. Um, I would say like my main thing is like, go do something cool that you care about. Like, that's I don't want people to come support my thing and just watch and listen and like not take action. Like, I don't know. I just like when people learn something. Coolest thing you could ever do something cool, tell me about it. If there's any impact that I had with that whatsoever, I'm a little full of myself. I'm gonna be like, oh, I helped you, and then you went and did some cool thing. Oh my god, this is the coolest. So there's that. But for the most part, it's just look at the people I hang out with. I don't hang out with people on accident. I don't spend my time without intention. So I don't know. Support the people I support. That's the coolest thing you could do for me. I'll be good. I'm making it happen. And I don't dislike money. Shout out to airdrops. I just got a beautiful new camera. I'm stoked about it. So let's get some money and yeah, do cool stuff. That's my parting thoughts.
Shout out to airdrops. I talked about airdrops at a couple of shows ago also because, hey, that's one of the beautiful things about being in the space. I love that. I saw that you got a new camera also. Congratulations on that. End our show by telling me maybe top three things that all content creators need to have today.
A phone, that's the biggest one. Because nobody needs more than a phone, but you at least need that. You need a phone. And you need good audio. So I would say for the people that cannot get off the fact that they think they need to spend money on things before they could start, just go buy an $80 mic from Best Buy. Get a Video Mic Me. It's a cute little thing that plugs into the bottom of your phone, and now you sound better. Audio is the whole game, right? And then a light. Get a light so we could see you. You don't even need the light, and you certainly don't need the camera. Notice I didn't say camera on any of that. Phone, a
Mhm.
mic, and a light, and then like you're off to the races. You're doing better than everybody else.
One of the interesting things that you did that I was just sharing with someone was that we were in New York and we took a picture together, and you flipped your phone on the other side, right? So, like, had the phone, instead of doing it on the selfie side, you turned it around and did it with this side. And I was like, what are you doing? What'd you do that for? What'd you do it for? Because I learned a lot. Now I want you to explain it to all the other people that are listening again. What'd you do that
Yeah.
for?
All right, it's funny because I made a video last night just to throw myself under the bus. I'm making like help content for the rug radio creators, and so I was filming this whole breakdown of like how to do things. And at one point, I literally did the whole lesson. But the funny thing is, I was doing the whole lesson about if you're talking to the camera and it's in selfie mode, then you could see yourself on the camera. So there's no shot you're not going to look at yourself. Your brain will not let you look where you're supposed to look, which is in the lens where the camera's at. You're going to look at yourself because you're full of yourself, because you're a human. It's okay. The problem is, it looks like shit and you're not making eye contact. It's a bad camera and you're not making eye contact. So you're just swinging and messing. You turn your phone around and you use the rear facing camera, way better resolution. You're just going to look just instantly way, way, way better. And then if you look at the lens, you're not tempted to look at anything else because there's nothing else to look at. The funny thing is, when I made that video, there's 3 lenses on my iPhone. I looked at the wrong one as I'm making a video telling them, you're not going to look at the wrong lens. So, having said that, I'm a bozo. I had to reshoot that and actually look into the right lens. All you got to do is turn on your rear facing camera and then just cover one of the 3 little lenses with your finger, and you'll see which one gets blacked out when you're covering the right one, and then look into that one when you turn your phone around. So it's nice because, again, you get way higher resolution. You're making solid eye contact. You're not tempted to look at yourself instead of the camera lens. And then the other thing is you could put it in, like on an iPhone, you could put it in 0.5 mode. And now it's like, boom, it's like fisheye, like huge, like you see way, way, way more. And you don't have that mode if you're doing it in selfie mode on some cameras or some iPhones. I think some of the newer ones have it. Either way, don't use selfie mode. That's for slackers. Flip the phone around, do better.
Wow, that's alpha. Seriously, I have never recorded a video not using selfie mode. And you're 100% right. I stare at myself the entire time. The entire time, right? Okay, yeah, no, that's tremendous alpha. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate all of that. I appreciate you being on the show. I think you are an amazing human being and an even better content creator. So come on the show anytime. And are you going to be in Lisbon?
I think I'm going to be in Texas at Consensus. So I've been talking with Rug and Pizza Ninjas about like what it looks like me doing both. And what I basically learned is that I'm an idiot. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to Texas and that'll be easy. So I will miss Lisbon, sadly, this time.
It's funny because I actually am in Texas and yet I'm going to Lisbon. So, but I'll catch you on the next one. It was really great to see you in New York. I hope you have an amazing time in Austin. Consensus is always a really, really cool one. So if for anybody listening and you're thinking about it, Consensus is a dope one. It's very different. It's not at all NFT focused or like at all. You hardly even see the same people that you see a lot of the other ones. It's very crypto focused, and so therefore you end up learning a lot more, and you end up doing a lot of different things than you would. And the food is fantastic. Get some tacos, get some barbecue, get all of the
Mhm.
good stuff that we are spoiled with over here in Texas.
I will. I will. I went a couple years ago. I didn't go last year. Definitely looking forward to it. It's gonna be a blast. But we'll definitely do something again. We
Yeah,
That's a beautiful thing with this. We get to see each other in all these weird places around the world,
yeah.
and so if it's not your hometown, it might be halfway around the world next time. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But thank you for having me. This is a blast. I love
Thank
talking about
you.
myself. It's not a bad gig. But honestly, I love what you're doing with this. And again, hats off. Live stream, space, same time. Nobody does that. What a boss. Good job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Man, this shit ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. And so, hey, if you are listening to us on Twitter Spaces, appreciate you being here. If you're watching us live on Twitter Spaces, appreciate you extra for being here. Because, like I said, it's your girl's still getting out of the comfort zone on being able to be on camera. So every single person that tunes in and watches us gives me just a little bit more oomph and a little bit more confidence boost to be able to do it next week. Every single week, I bring on somebody new and somebody different and somebody who is moving the needle forward, in my opinion, in Web3. So make sure that you're tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure that you are following my personal account, Bell NFTs. Make sure that you're following us on NFT Girl. Make sure that you're following Chris also. All of these places that you can gain knowledge, make yourself a better content creator, make yourself a better human being. We got into some really good conversations today about
Yep.
happiness and how you can improve your life just straight off the bat. So make sure that you're doing all of that. And a reminder, we do this show every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you didn't know, now you know, baby. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. Thanks, Chris.